Hello, it's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Welcome to Just Ask Bob Live. I am your host, Bob Assadourian. This show is interactive in two parts. Beginning of the show, we have real job site renovation footage from one of my job sites. We air that in order to answer a viewer's past question. Second part of the show, we're here, we're in studio live. You can reach us by email at askbob@cable14.com or tweet at justaskbob, or if you're old school, pick up the phone. We welcome your calls. 905-645-3232. Hit us with everything you have. Contractor issues, husband and wife fighting over what kind of tile to put up in the kitchen backsplash, any type of home renovation questions from the foundation to the roof and everything in between. Just please stick to home rentals, no marriage questions. We're not going to take those on these episodes. Now, this show has two goals in mind, and this is very, very important. Two goals. Obviously, this is a DIY show, and that stands for do it yourself. Now, with do it yourself, keeping that in mind, I want to motivate you always to get up, get off the couch with a passion and tackle that ever so growing to-do list. Whether it's small repairs, putting up some pictures, hooking up a mount for a television, for that big smart TV, right to kitchens, basements, and bathrooms, and everything in between. Even roofing. Speaking of roofing, speaking of DIY, you must be safe. If for whatever reason, not a long enough ladder, not brave enough to get up there, whatever the reason, then you must call in, hopefully, a licensed contractor. So that's the second goal of the show, is to demystify the hiring process. I always say this, it's not just any old contractor. It has to be the right contractor for you and your own home. Speaking of contractors, the basis of this show, and I wouldn't be hosting it today without it, our city, at least Hamilton, does have a master building repair license, which I'm very proud to be holding up on the screen right now. This license means a lot to the homeowner. This license means that your contractor has passed a police clearance. That's critical. The right contractor for you and your home may be in your home from well before you leave for work in the morning till right after you're back, still be there when you're back home from work yourself. Police clearance, background check, those types of things are important. Now, our municipality, the city of Hamilton, they check that, they vet that, they take a fee. Then the prospective contractor or wannabe contractor goes in for a 2-hour open book examination on the Bible of home renovations. To myself here, it's to my left, the Ontario Minimum Building Code. That is what the examination is on. The city also checks for $2 million minimum liability insurance. See, these things are important. Now, I always talk about the license. That is important foundation as a starting point. Now, is the license perfection? Is the municipality straight exam board perfect? Will this contractor be guaranteed to perform the best painting in your home, to lay the hardwood the most perfectly he can lay it? Not necessarily. You know, little items like that you may have to deal with. But in the end, you have to think about it. Do you want to roll the dice and hire somebody unlicensed or hire somebody that is licensed? So there's not a guarantee that comes with the license, but like with any building practice or building a home, you must start on a solid foundation. That's very, very important. For over a decade, I've been calling out on this very station what I've dubbed as the crooked and overcharging contractor. In most cases, the unlicensed contractor. How many of you at home, look in your mind's eye and remember last time you hired somebody, did you ask him one or too many questions? Was he grumpy? You ask him in a second question, he barks the answer. Did he track mud through your home, cross your carpet or cross your tile when he came in on a rainy day because he was too lazy to take off his work boots? Was the workmanship shoddy? Did he run off with your deposit? There are many, many potential issues. Each and every episode, I will work hard and I will work honestly, transparently to demystify the process of finding the right contractor for you and your own home. And obviously, my preference is that you get up, get off the couch, tackle these to-do lists on your own, if not for the simple reason of bragging rights. When you do it and you do it yourself, you brag. Might as well. friends, neighbors, family, when they come, they visit, that beautiful tile floor, that bathroom, that man cave in the basement, that tile you laid in the kitchen on the backsplash, maybe one cracked tile you replaced, you changed some grout, install weather stripping, doors and windows. It's your home. You know, there's an old saying that if you want it done right, do it yourself. And I am a licensed contractor that does this for a living, but I'm still telling you the truth. Doing it yourself, much, much better chance you're going to do it properly because you've taken the money, the greed out of the equation. Unfortunately, as contractors, they're also business people. You know, they've got quotas to fill. They've got profit and bottom line to think about. So once again, this show is interactive. Email us at askbob@cable14.com, tweet at Just Ask Bob, or pick up the phone. We welcome your calls. 905-645-3232. Now we have an email that's going to kick off today's real rental footage. I live in a 20-year-old home, and it is time to replace my windows. I am too old to do it and worry about hiring a contractor that might cut corners. Can you please do a show on window replacement, showing some of the important steps so I get an idea on how windows are properly installed and so I can follow the contractor as he installs them. This is from Manpreet in Hamilton. Now, Manpreet, to be honest now, let's go off topic for a moment because we're kidding about your email, you know, prior to airing tonight. Now, about following your contractor's progress, I want you to do that safely. You know, when the day's said and done, it's your home. And we have jobs where, you know, homeowners are gone. They let us run wild, so to speak. We have other jobs where in the past homeowners have kept a little too close. I can remember a job 2 years ago where the homeowner was certainly following my progress. You know, 3 times I told him to stay clear. It was a sunroom. We were going to be replacing windows, and I was smashing out the framing. So I've got my safety glasses on. I'm swinging the hammer. The homeowner was maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet in his backyard. One of the pieces of lumber I was smashing launched out, and it hit him in the shoulder. Now, fortunately for myself and him, he didn't get hurt, but again, he was following the progress a little too closely. Now, the gentleman here, I believe I understand what he means is he wants to make sure, because you also stated you don't want the contractor cutting corners. And that's exactly what I don't want any contractor or homeowner doing. So again, you have to find, you know, a medium ground where you can not only stand safely and watch, but you can also stay out of the path of the contractor and his workers, because again, it is a profit-driven society. You can't slow them down too much, but obviously, ask them questions. You see, this goes back to the hiring process, and I've talked about this many, many times. You must test your contractor's patience during the estimating and the first impression, the first time they come to your home. Not as much to test their patience after you've hired them. So when they come to your home, you know, it's your home. Ask questions. Hit them with the questions. If they lose their patience, again, that may not be the right contractor for you in your home. Because if they're losing their patience at that point, imagine how they're going to act in your home when there's an issue. You know, let it be possibly material shows up late, a window order arrives and the window's damaged, or you, the homeowner, are asking too many questions. So the trial period is before you sign on the dotted line. Because after you sign on the dotted line, there has to be real legal issues in order to be able to kick them out of your home. Not just because they're not, you know, maybe effectively communicating with you or smiling with you or at you every time you ask them a question. So that's very important. Now, window installations, I only believe there's a right way, and that's it. And there's many, many, many wrong ways. Follow the show, and again, feel free. Send us questions by whatever method you wish tonight. It can be on this topic, on the video you're about to watch from one of my job sites, or anything from the foundation to the roof. Enjoy the show. Today we're going to run you through the process of installing a brand new window. Give us a big warm wave, Frank. Frank Lorcella, one of Triple R's finest. Now, beginning with this project, you want to make absolutely certain that your window opening is level. There we go. You want to make sure the bubble's in the center. You want to make sure your opening's square prior to installing the window. If anything's out of level or out of square, now's the time to correct it. All right, Frank, run us through the process. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install 3 1/2-inch blocks of wood, plywood, on the bottom. Now the reason for this is we wanna create an air gap. We wanna create a 1/2-inch space that's gonna be filled with spray foam. Now, in the event your opening wasn't level, you would be using shims underneath the bottom. These are beautiful windows made by Gentech. These windows have a vinyl flange that's going to receive new vinyl siding. They also have a nailing flange on the exterior. All right, Frank, how's our opening look?
It looks pretty good.
Beautiful.
Still very level.
Excellent. All right, let's get that window in. Let's see some muscle. We call him Frank the Tank for a reason. He's strong and he's tall.
Hey, Owen, do you mind if I can get some help leveling this out?
All right, Frank's just put it into the opening. We've got Owen inside now who's going to be centering it in the opening. The opening is a 1/2-inch wider left and right and a 1/2-inch taller than the actual window. Again, that's for spray foam. Let's have a look now, Frank. The bubble doesn't lie. Give me a second to get in there.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Very level.
Let's check the sides.
It's still within the bubble.
Nice. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these windows have a vinyl nailing flange, and they have a reveal at the brick mold to accept vinyl siding, so there's no need for any aluminum capping. And once again, we're working on a rainy day. Job's got to get done one way or the other. Now there's a lot of little holes in this vinyl flange. You can see them all there. Every single hole has to get filled with a nail. And you want to make absolutely certain that you hit the nail and not the white brick mold. You don't want to cause any damage. All right, Frank's going to keep firing these in. Then we're going to show you how to install blue skin. Blue skin. Blue skin is a peel and stick membrane flashing that's going to go around the window. It's very important that you install it in the correct order in order for it to shed water. So we're starting with the bottom piece. The right and left, the sides will overlap the bottom, and then the top will cover the sides. Over top of this, there'll be Tyvek house wrap. As you can see, you want to follow us and zoom in over here. The wall to the left of the door that still needs to be installed has the Tyvek house wrap. And then the vinyl siding goes on at the end. So you can see Frank installing it, and then he's going to push with his hands to make sure we've got a nice tight fit. Make sure that it adheres well. Now this is way above and beyond the so-called Ontario minimum building code. You won't see this in new home construction. These are very expensive windows. We want to make absolutely certain they do not have any future leaks. Now blue skin's expensive and it's difficult to work with, but as I always say for homeowners, for the DIY projects, When you cut the crooked and overcharging contractor out of the equation, reinvest the savings back into yourself, back into your home, purchase the most expensive products that your budget can allow for, and do the job properly. So you see Frank's peeling about a foot or two of the backing. You don't want to peel the entire length because it'll end up sticking to itself. You get caught up and hung up in a sticky mess. These are all layers of protection. Vinyl siding, brickwork and stone on the exterior. Most all exterior finishes on a home will let water and moisture through. So your Tyvek's your first layer of defense. If water gets through the Tyvek, you have the blue skin. And when you're putting in screws or nails for your vinyl siding, you're always piercing these protection membranes. However, the blue skin has a rubber glue coating on the back of it, so it will actually seal against the screws and against the nail heads, causing a waterproof seal. There you go. For those of you at home, that's two sides finished. It's the exact same process for the other two sides. Frank's going to demonstrate here how the blue skin seals itself. So we're making a cut in it. And then we're pulling it apart. All right, Frank, push it back together now.
I think that's perfectly sealed again.
Yeah, it reseals itself. So anything penetrating the membrane, such as nails and screws, it's a self-seal. Very, very nice product. Now we're back inside where it's not raining, and that's always a good thing. These windows, as you seen a moment ago, we installed them through the nailing flange. All four sides on the exterior have the flange. You put a nail through every hole. Now on the inside, let's go over some of the components. If you want to zoom in for the viewers at home, up here we have what's called a knockout. So this is the plastic, it comes out. This is on all four corners of the window. Once you pop these out, you have an area that you can fasten screws, and then the plastic cap goes back on. That way it's a nice, sleek looking surface. You don't see the screw heads exposed anywhere. First thing you want to do, the window's already in the opening, it's fastened from the outside. Before you're able to screw it, you have to shim it. So let me give you an example here. When you put the screw through here, you want to make sure there's no gap. You want to zoom in here for the viewers. This is the gap on the window. If you don't shim it, you're going to distort the frame. Now, this is the wrong way to shim it. You really want to zoom in here and watch the distortion. Too much stress on bowing the jamb. That's not good. That's just enough pressure so the window's not going to distort. Final thing for the viewers at home, you want to zoom in here. These are special windows, they're by Gentech, and believe it or not, there's a reason for this piece of paper. These are the instructions. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. They explain the screw spacing. On this particular window, you're not to screw any closer than 2 to 3 inches from the corners. It's not meant to be fastened that way. You want to have a nice high-power drill, hopefully cordless. Nice light pressure. You don't want to overdo it. 1 screw in each corner, that's all you need. Now we've got one of the final steps for the window installation. We've got great stuff here. You want to zoom in for the viewers at home. Window and door spray foam, and it's color coded. There's a reason it's blue. This is low expansion. It's not going to bow or distort the frame of the door or window. If you use the wrong spray foam, you're going to have a lot of problems. You might wedge the window shut. Follow us now as we put it in. You want to push the straw all the way to the back. Start from the back and move your way forward. Phenomenal product. Never let your door and window contractor substitute spray foam for pink fiberglass insulation. Absolute junk, absolute crap. Nothing seals the void like this. And again, the window's approximately 4 inches deep. So you want to make sure the straw is at least halfway in. You want to be pressurizing the foam from the back to the front. Now I'm going to take a moment and go over some of the finishing stages of the window for a future Just Ask Bob show. These windows were ordered with a jam fin. So this is a special fin. You purchase 3/4 flat stock jam material. You measure from inside here to here. You're going to actually make the jams on site, and then you're going to install the casing. And we're going to take care of that in a future show. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the window installation. Again, it's your emails that prompted that video footage for one of my real rental job sites. Remember, contact us, askbob@cable14.com by email, Twitter @JustAskBob, or pick up the phone. I'm old school. I welcome your call, 905-645-3232. I will do my best using honesty to always answer your questions here on this very show live. And some of those questions the answer may also come with some of Bob's real job site footage. We have a contest. I'm very proud of this. Again, it all comes down to motivation. Bob's giving away 1 of 4 $50 Home Depot gift cards. We want to motivate you to send in your question by video. Video should be no longer than 30 seconds. If you're recording on a cell phone, please remember, turn your phone sideways so that the image appears widescreen, just like your TV. For all contest details, go to cable14.com/AskBobContest for full contest details and to submit your video. Now, if you're shy and you don't want to appear in your own video, there is a way around that, and you still qualify for one of the $50 Home Depot gift cards. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you want to replace your kitchen faucet because it's dripping or leaking. Grab your phone, turn it sideways, shoot some video of the faucet, back up, open the cabinet door. Bob wants to see the plumbing underneath, the shutoffs, and talk through the video while you're shooting it. So if you're camera shy, you don't necessarily have to physically appear in your own video. Of course, we'd like to see you. We welcome you on the show. Now, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Kirk Robinson, inviting you to watch Auto Experts right here on Cable 14, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Remember, tune in to Auto Experts. Stay in tune with your car.
Missed an episode? Don't worry. You can visit past episodes of your favorite Cable 14 programs on demand at cable14now.com. Programs like Hamilton Eats, City Matters, or local sports coverage. Visit today and browse through all the available titles. Cable 14 Now is live, local, and online.
Hi, Hi, I'm Laura Babcock, host of The O Show here on Cable 14. And during this pandemic, while we're all staying home, staying safe, and practicing social distancing, we're still going to talk to the Hamiltonians who are making news. We'll keep having those same great discussions on important topics that matter to you. The only difference is the platform that we're shooting it on. So please stay tuned, stay engaged.
If you count on your network of friends for connection, your network of colleagues for collaboration, your social network for sharing, or your TV network for entertainment, it's because you also count on your network. Learn more at networksyoucancountOn.ca.
Why should you stride for the general?
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for patients who rely on the care at Hamilton General Hospital, the Regional Rehabilitation Center, and St. Peter's Hospital. Walk or run this September for our virtual event and make a vital difference on the front lines and beyond.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have a question by email. Can I make my own permit drawings for a new deck project? Edward from Ancaster. Edward, yes, you can. This is actually very interesting now. Myself as the contractor, licensed, believe it or not, I cannot make the permit drawings for your deck. You as the homeowner can make them. Now, the reasoning behind this is, the city has to have some leeway here because, again, you are the homeowner. Now, equally puzzling is, or equally important is, why is the contractor not allowed to? The master building repair license in Hamilton does not get heavily into structure. Structure is taken care of by a BCIN, designated license holder, or an engineer. Now, BCIN number is called the Building Code Identification Number. So that's actually a license designated status for somebody that can make permit drawings, or there's engineers and architects. You save a lot of money making it yourself. You have to study structure. Again, behind me to my left here, as I'm viewing it, the Ontario Building Code book. You can pick up the book. You can study the book. The span tables, that's the key. The span tables and the structure tables are in there. If you feel comfortable with it, you pay the fee. You can apply for the permit yourself, and the city will be a little bit patient with you. You may have to go there and meet with a plans examiner, but yes, in a nutshell, you can apply for it as long as it's your own home. Now, there's a bit of a scam also going on, and I want to address this. There are wannabe, the unlicensed and crooked contractors in town that would not apply for a permit because they're not licensed. So there are situations where these people, they don't have connections with a BCIN designated license holder to make the drawings, or architects or engineers. So what these people will do is they'll sort of hatch a plan with the homeowner, where they'll tell the homeowner, you submit the drawing, get the drawing all figured out, we'll build the deck, and when there's inspections, you, the homeowner, will be there when the city inspector comes, and you go through the process of pretending it was your work. Now, there have been cases in Hamilton where the homeowner participates in their own fraud. Then when it doesn't go well with the contractor and things go south, homeowner calls the city to complain, and yet they, participated in the scam themselves from the beginning. I've been told by homeowners that have gone through this. One I can think of recently was a basement renovation. So again, the permit was applied for by the homeowner. There really wasn't a need for drawings in this case. But either way, as far as the city was concerned, the homeowner was the one responsible for remodeling the basement. Now, there was some issue with moving a telepost, a supporting structure. And when the city came to inspect, the contractor was actually hiding in the basement, listening. So when the inspector came, he failed that component of the job. and then the homeowner and the contractor had it out. So again, it's really, really important to be upfront and honest when you're applying for a permit. It is your home. You can create the drawings, but that's usually meaning that you're going to be doing the work yourself. Why create drawings and pretend that there are contractors? Obviously, this contractor is not licensed and ill-equipped to take on the task. So please always, always be careful. Great question, though. We have another one here. I am changing up my backyard. I am trying to decide between deck and concrete, but there are so many types of each. What are the differences in wood and concrete? Carlos from Hamilton. Excellent. Well, a lot of differences, quite a lot, more than I can explain on this show today. But let me break it down. Simply speaking, concrete will last longer, again, generally speaking, if it's done right. And as long as Mother Nature participates and there's not a lot of, earthquakes or ground shakes or frost heave or whatnot, but it comes at a premium. Concrete cost. There's a lot of money involved in concrete. Now, lumber and wood is much more affordable. And again, depending on the materials you choose, it should last a long, long time as well. Let me demystify this now and break it down simply. Let's start most affordable to most expensive. Pressure-treated lumber, it's come a long, long way from what your grandparents had as that ugly green. Pressure-treated lumber now in most areas, it's available by Sienna. At least that's just one manufacturer, but it's brown. So they got rid of the green. They got rid of a lot of the arsenic and a lot of the chemicals, so it's a lot safer now to be used in playgrounds and used in homes. One step up from that would be cedar. Again, you're paying a premium. And then the final step up is composite. Composite's amazing. Again, you have to research it. There are slight pros and cons with each type of material, but generally speaking, most affordable is your pressure treated, next is your cedar, and then is your composite. Now, again, it has to be installed correctly. That's very important. If you're not installing it correctly, your joists aren't on 16-inch centers, and you're going nuts with the span, and you happen to use composite, it's going to bend under load, especially when the sun's baking it. Now, if we jump to concrete, with concrete, your choices are, and again, this is also pretty close in affordability as far as the most affordable is basic, regular gray concrete. Nothing fancy to it. Sometimes it has a broom finish to it. However, I would implore my concrete contractor to at least wet a sponge and put some circle textures in it, hopefully at no additional charge. One up from that would be, well, the next two are almost equal, depending who's charging you, depending who you're calling over, stamped concrete or aggregate. But let me put a different spin on it. In my personal and professional opinion, I would recommend aggregate finish. That's exposed aggregate where you can see the colors and the pebbles. I prefer that over stamped for a couple of reasons. First of all, Bob just loves how it feels on his bare feet. It's very, very nice to have in a yard. Secondly, long term now, if there's a crack or there's damage to it, there is a way with adding pebbles and adding color that you can actually repair it so that it's nearly indistinguishable to the naked eye. So it can be repaired very well. Now, stamped concrete or especially regular plain gray concrete, you have a crack in that, you're going to be seeing it forever. I mean, you can chip it out, you can repair it, but a crack's a crack. So I hope that helps answer your question. If you want more follow-up, feel free for anybody calling in or anybody sending emails. My contact information, my website's up at the end of the show. If there's something I can't answer on today's program or you want follow-up further, contact us after the show. We have another email here. I am remodeling my bathroom. I want to choose a good quality exhaust fan. Can you please provide me with some buying and installing tips? This is John from Hamilton. Well, John, the first tip I'll tell you is spend the money. Believe me, that's important. Spend the money. I highly recommend, a favorite of mine is the Panasonic. That fan is just amazing. If you can't afford the Panasonic, spend at least close to $200 or plus on a Broen. The Panasonic is worth the money. If we talk about now the beginnings of these fans, at the bottom of the barrel, again, it falls to new home construction. I can't tell you how many people call me to their homes. They've either recently moved in or they've bought the home after it's a few years old or very old, doesn't matter. In any case, these are $40 fans which the builders probably pick up for $25. These fans make nothing but nuisance noise. All they do is make sound. They don't draw anything out. So those fans are garbage. Usually the ducting is also inferior. I've seen them as small as 3-inch. I've seen them come off with a 4-inch, and then the installer reduces it to a 3-inch just to buy cheaper ducting, but that's mind-boggling. You know, you're going to bottleneck it there. So again, the importance is buy a good high-quality unit. In most cases, if it's not new construction, you're going to have to enlarge the hole in your ceiling. Second half of that equation, which is equally as important, is the installation. You want to install it properly. Now, the renovation footage from my job site that you watched, at the very last part of the clip, you've seen Bob using spray foam. That's very, very important, because if you don't seal that opening, if you don't seal that 4 sides around the fan as it goes into the attic, you're going to get heat loss. And if you get enough heat loss, you can get mold issues in the attic. And also, you can get ice damming and icicles at the edge of your roof. So that's very important when you install it. You know, you're going to have pulled away all your attic bats or your insulation. Nothing works like spray foam. You're going to spray foam the perimeter. That'll expand and create an excellent seal. And then you replace your attic insulation. Now, just as important as the quality of the fan is the quality of the ducting. Buy good quality ducting, and always, always read the manufacturer's installation instructions. I don't care whether it's a contractor or a homeowner. No one's got the right to throw the instructions away. You see, then people wonder why things don't go right. A manufacturer spends a fortune on engineering and testing. That product's their baby. When they put together that little pamphlet, that instruction book, there's a reason for it. Play it safe. And also, as far as the installation, follow us on our website, www.justaskbob.com. You know, we've been on this very network for a decade. You'll find our YouTube channel where we have the past episodes. It's a teaching episode. It's a teaching site. You can pause, fast forward, and rewind. I believe it was season 5. Just Ask Bob, season 5 on the playlist. Bathroom exhaust fan installation. So you can actually watch a half-hour program of beginning to end, installing the fan, and it couldn't be easier. Like I said again, pause, fast forward, and a rewind. And I can only teach you how to install it. As far as your budget and what you spend, the best advice I can give you is spend a lot and spend wise, as much as your budget will allow. There's absolutely no use and no justice in a fan that's going to make noise and not draw the exhaust out of the bathroom. We have another email now. I have a collection of old paint from previous renovations. I'm looking to touch up some walls, but wondering how long paint is good for. Dana from Cayuga. Great question, Dana. Love it. You know, I tell homeowners, I just think in my mind now, every time I've painted for a homeowner, whether it's just a bathroom or a whole home, and we don't actually do too many whole homes, but regardless of what I'm painting, at the end, I sort of prod the homeowner, ask them where they're planning on storing the paint. Most often in the basement, and ask them, show me please. You know, I'm hoping I'm going to go down there and where they're going to store it is up high off the ground. No, they're always storing it right on the concrete. Don't do it. It'll harden the paint. It just won't last. Generally speaking, there's not really an exact expiry date on your paint. If you can shake it and it moves, it should still be okay. I mean, you might have to filter it or just chuck it, but again, it depends. If it's solid like a rock, forget it. Before we take the next email, again, a reminder, you can reach us always here at the show, askbob@cable14.com by email or tweet at justaskbob, or if you're old school, Bob welcomes a phone call, 905-645-3232. We have another email. My contractor is switching materials from what was promised to us for our basement reno. Wow, this really upsets us. What are our options? Shannon from Dundas. Well, Shannon, I really hope you got it in writing, so to speak. You know, again, on this very network for over a decade, I've talked about this, and I've talked about it on news interviews. You really have two ways of entering into a contractual agreement with your contractor. And again, if I may be so bold to say, the wrong way and the right way. The right way is getting it in writing. The wrong way is a handshake and a verbal agreement. Just doesn't work. Doesn't work. I mean, numerous reasons. I mean, we'll address yours for the moment right now, and then I'll get into a few more reasons. But if you have a proper, well-written contract, and let's say, for example, I don't know your particulars of your situation, but let's say, for example, it's a Moen faucet. So the contract specifies, my contract would state, Moen single-handle vanity faucet, fully chrome. You know, the reason is because they have cheaper Moens that have an acrylic handle. And in most cases, I'll even have the model number for the homeowner to sign off on. Now, when Bob writes a contract like that, or any legitimate contractor, you have recourse. I mean, number one, that's fraud. It's just wrong. That's bait and switch. You can't do that. It's illegal. Now, let's look at the alternative. No contract. You know, the contractor came in, and as a lot of contractors tell me, especially some of my friend contractors, well, Bob, we don't get paid to yak and yak. We don't get paid to type and type. We go in, we have a verbal conversation. Okay, $89 plus HST, we'll install a Moen faucet. And at the end, we email the homeowner an invoice, or we leave the invoice in the mailbox. Now, here's a couple of reasons this can go wrong, badly wrong. Contractor says Moen faucet. Homeowner hears Moen faucet. Contractor does a bait and switch and puts in a Danzy faucet that he picked up at Walmart for a quarter of the price. Now the problem becomes he says, she says. Because in the absence of paperwork, in the absence of evidence, homeowner's going to say, what the hell's going on? You're ripping me off. I didn't pay for a Danzy. Contractor's going to say, that's what I told you. You know, who wins? You know, what is there, a tape recording of this verbal contractual agreement? Please, always get it in writing. Now, I know I knock on contractors a lot here, so let's talk about it in a different light. Contractor's a nice fellow. Homeowner's a nice lady. There's just a misunderstanding. No one's out to screw anyone. Homeowner's not out to take advantage of the contractor. Contractor was definitely not out to do a bait and switch. There's a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. How do you work it out? Again, in the absence of a written contract. Stay tuned. We're going to be taking a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Laura Babcock, host of The O Show here on Cable 14. And during this pandemic, while we're all staying home, staying safe, and practicing social distancing, we're still going to talk to the Hamiltonians who are making news. We'll keep having those same great discussions on important topics that matter to you. The only difference is the platform that we're shooting it on. So please stay tuned, stay engaged.
It's about sharing and caring. It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today. If you count on your network of friends for connection, your network of colleagues for collaboration, your social network for sharing, or your TV network for entertainment, it's because you also count on your network. Learn more at networksyoucancountOn.ca.
Missed an episode? Don't worry. You can visit past episodes of your favorite Cable 14 programs on demand at cable14now.com. Programs like Hamilton Eats, City Matters, or local sports coverage. Visit today and browse through all the available titles. Cable 14 Now is live, local, and online. You can visit our website at cable14.com. Like us on Facebook at Cable 14 Hamilton, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Cable 14.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. This show is interactive. Don't forget, send us your emails at askbob@cable14.com. Tweet us at Just Ask Bob, or if you're old school, pick up the phone, 905-645-3232. One of your questions may feature renovation footage from a real job site to answer your question. We have a contest. Bob's very proud of this contest. We are giving away one of 4 $50 Home Depot gift cards to get you motivated and get you up and off the couch. This is in response to sending a video home rental question. Now, please, your video should be no longer than 30 seconds. Excuse me. If you're recording on a cell phone, please remember to turn your phone sideways. This way, the image is widescreen, just like your TV. For full contest details, please go to cable14.com/AskBobContest for full contest details and to submit your video. Now, for those of you that want to submit, but you're shy, you kind of can do it without having to actually show yourself on television, although Bob would love to see you. Let me give you an example. Your faucet's leaking or dripping, or you want to replace it. Turn your smartphone sideways, take your video of the faucet, obviously talk from behind the camera, send that submission, and yes, Bob guarantees you that qualifies you to enter the contest anonymously, so to speak. But I still prefer to see you. We have another email here to take. What are the different options in toilet water supply lines? This is from Andrew from Hamilton. Excellent question, Andrew. I love it. And I brought some props along because it's not always easiest to, demystify or explain these construction components verbally alone. So Bob came prepared today. What we have here is a variety of water shutoffs. So let's start with the finest. This here is braided stainless steel. It's flexible. It's very, very DIY, easy to use. You don't have to have a lot of experience to use this. Very, very high quality. I strongly recommend this, and I use these myself at jobs. Now, the other two are most definitely not Bob's top picks. This one here is just plain plastic. If you bend it enough, I don't know if you can see that at home, but it actually starts to lighten up in color. This is junk, absolute piece of junk. Now, this isn't bad. This is metal. This is a metal line, which is a good thing. However, this requires some skill and a tube bender because you obviously can't put it in like that. You have to be able to bend it, and there you go. Can you see that? What happens when you bend it too much? It kinks. So this is not very friendly, not very easy to use. The winner is definitely the flexible braided hose, and you can find these anywhere. Toilet repairs are very easy to do. Toilet repairs, we live in the day and age of the internet, and I can't stop raving about this. There's absolutely no reason that you can't learn about products. Back in the day before the internet, people actually had to buy books. People had to go to trade school. This type of thing was taught in high schools. It was even taught in the elementary level. None of that exists in today's society, but with the internet and even the big box stores, they have seminars. So I think it all begins in the very beginning with getting up, getting off the couch. There has to be a want, there has to be a need, and then you can learn yourself and you can tackle what you feel safe tackling. We actually have another email here. The contractor we hired is licensed. However, he is using sub-trades. As the homeowner, do I have to check that his sub-trades are licensed, insured, and WSIB covered? Elaine from Ancaster. Elaine, that's a beautiful question. Very well thought out question. And I've been asked that myself on different jobs. You see, not every contractor, general contractor, can perform every job in your home. If he or she says they can, they're most likely lying. Let's compare it to your family doctor. So your family doctor is a general practitioner, just like Bob, your general contractor. We're generalists. We're not specialists. Your family doctor, very unlikely he's a joint or bone specialist. Very unlikely he's going to be your specialist and treat your kidneys. Very unlucky he's going to operate on you. You know, he as a general practitioner, he'll take notes and he'll, so to speak, to use a contracting coin, phrase a contracting coin of term here, he's going to subcontract you to the kidney specialist, the ear and nose throat specialist, whoever is needed. You know, if that family doctor was trying to do too much on you, you know, I'd be worried. Now, with the case with general contractors, you know, you often see my license here at the beginning of the show. Let's talk about some restrictions. Electrical. I'm not allowed to install electrical to run wires specifically. So I have my licensed master electrical contractor who I bring in on my jobs to do the electrical. Another restriction, structure, so to speak. I need a BCIN designated license holder to make permit drawings for my large structural projects or even deck builds, or I bring in my engineer. Through their drawings, I can build it. With the electrician, it's not through his advice that I can run the wire. He has to run the wire. Another item, gas. To hook up gas stoves or run gas lines. That's a restriction. Bob doesn't touch gas. That's regulated by the TSSA, Technical Safety Standards Association, TSSA. And rightly so, because gas can cause an explosion. Now that I've explained that more specifically to the homeowner's question, as long as your contractor is licensed, this becomes sort of a bookkeeping, clerical issue where the smart contractor will make sure that he has the WSIB and the insurance paperwork from his subs. Because to the homeowner, just the general contractor has to prove their credentials. Technically speaking, if I brought in another general contractor, you know, to help because the project was too big, as far as the city of Hamilton's concerned, and I believe most other municipalities that have the contractor licensing, that subcontracted second contractor does not even require a license. Now, there's a reason for that. The city's not out to protect me when I'm hiring another contractor. They're not out to protect the home builders from their own trades. The city is only out to protect you, the homeowner, not necessarily the contractor or the builder. So if you, the homeowner, are hiring a contractor, yes, he has to be licensed. If I am hiring another contractor, technically he doesn't have to be licensed, but I have to make sure that I've got all my paperwork properly lined up with their WSIB, Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage. Because you see, it's simple. My Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage, I pay a fortune on that. 19 years, never an injury, nothing a Band-Aid wouldn't fix. Now, that's because we keep it safe at work and I'm on top of safety. Now, if I bring in my electrician, for example, and I don't check on his WSIB and there was an issue, he wasn't making his payments or it was canceled, because I'm the general contractor on that job and I've brought him in, if one of his employees falls off a ladder as they were wiring up a chandelier and they're hurt, I'm liable because it's sort of the umbrella coverage. My Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage account ends up covering for that injury, and potentially my premiums can go up. So again, if your contractor's licensed and you trust them, they'll be above board. They're going to bring in everybody properly. If you, the homeowner, are generally running the job yourself and acting as the general contractor, then every single sub-trade you bring in, that's the headache. You got to make sure every single one's insured, commercial insurance if they cause damage, WSIB if they're hurt, and on and on. Stay tuned. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back.
Why should you stride for the general?
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for patients who rely on the care at Hamilton General Hospital, the Regional Rehabilitation Center, and St. Peter's Hospital. Walk or run this September for our virtual event and make a vital difference on the front lines and beyond.
It's about sharing and caring.
It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today.
I am Larry Deanne, and I'm the host of In the Hall, Cable 14's Community Affairs program, which always brings you a focus on important issues happening in our community. We are during a pandemic period, and I'm hoping that you're doing everything that will keep you safe. But I do want you to know that we have new content. We bring you the decision makers to talk about issues in our communities. Please join me.
Cancer connects us all. Join Stand Up to Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society to learn more about the groundbreaking research that translates into life-saving treatments. Visit standuptocancer.ca/CCS to learn more.
Hello, I'm Tara Prinali. Join us on The Opinionators at 2:30, 5:30, and 8:30 p.m. Thursdays, where we'll talk about federal and provincial issues and how they pertain to Hamilton.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have some exciting footage for next Tuesday's episode, which is on brick and concrete repairs. A must-see. This crack seemed to run almost straight through the center. Now, as I explained to the homeowner, it's just a matter of shifting in the earth, because this seemed to happen just after the spring. We chipped it out all the way across, and we filled it in with a high quality masonry product. But the most important thing is we used the bonding agent. This is what makes or breaks the repair. Now, the concrete repair products, they will have additives, latex bonders in them, but nothing beats adding your own. So again, we left a little bit for today's episode so we can show you. Now, always important when you're chipping, have your safety glasses. Remember, every episode is interactive. Send us your home rental questions, askbob@cable14.com, or tweet at JustAskBob, or pick up the phone, 905-645-3232. As always, with closing thoughts, just like the beginning thoughts, our community and your community as well may have a master building repair license. Very, very important. I strongly recommend only hire licensed contractors. Now, we've been on this network for over a decade. Follow us on our site, largest home rental site as a teaching site, www.justaskbob.com.